Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a very special episode of Wrestling Prime. This is the Wrestle Mania review. It's actually part one of the WrestleMania preview because of the fact that WrestleMania this year is being broken down into two separate pay-per-views. So with that being said, I am your host, Tom Dog, and let's get started with the first part of review, and we need to get that out of the way. But before we do, let's do our promotion like we always do, and this episode is brought to you by M&J Video Games and Collectibles. Trade in your old video games and consoles, from retro video games, accessories, and systems. You can also trade in your DVD box sets and Blu-rays. You can also trade in your sports cards and novelty items, as well as wrestling collectibles and autographed items spanning from sports, wrestling, and actors. If you happen to be in the Connecticut area, and after the pandemic that's going on and everything, why don't you check this place out? It's a wonderful, wonderful place, and you'll love it just as much as I do. You could check out their website over at mjvideogamesandcollectibles.com for directions and list of events that they have going on. Not at the moment because of all the things that are happening right at this very moment. So yeah. Wow. I do have some mixed reactions regarding this first part of WrestleMania, but I'm going to take it for what it is, in light of what's going on because of the COVID virus that's going on, and it's getting worse every single day. They had to do what they had to do. My episodes in the past think differently about it, but for what it's worth, it is what it is. And so I had to grin and bear it, and watch what had to be done, because you know what, for the sake of this video, I have to, because at the same time, the show must go on, as they say, and more importantly, I am an essential YouTuber, so I might as well, I have to do my part as a YouTuber to, do the news. So, pretty much, and me being a wrestling fan that I am, I have to do it. I have to do this video. So I have the message boards going on at the moment. So keep the comments to what they are and everything like that. We got to be civil about this. I mean, it's okay if you didn't like the show, but it's not okay to be a jerk about it. So I'm just saying, I'm being civilized around here. So, because at the end of the day, I have a job to do, and I have to move this out of the way. I have a job. To do, and believe me, you don't want this guy to get involved. That's right. Wonderful X Block, my good friend X Block. So yeah. Me being a wrestling fan, I was supposed to make like a custom mask, and what it was a Steve Austin bandana that I have. However, I botched it completely, so I am completely terrible with it. So yeah, no handmade face mask. Sorry. I bought the wrong kind of elastic. So, yeah, that was my fault. Yeah. Anyways, so yeah, let's get to the show and everything like that. Um, so yeah, it was a decent. I thought it was a decent pay per view for what it was. In light, and as I said, in light of what it was, I mean, beggars can't be choosy. There were some moments in there that I will be addressing that it kind of brought me back home, in a way. So yeah, it brought back some wonderful memories of my when I did Wrestling Prime on cable access. So yeah. So let's start off with the kickoff show. Now now it's a little bit differently how I'm going to be doing this in light that there's because basically when I grade these matches, I grade them on fan reaction. Um, whether because in whether they whoever they like about the match, whoever they like doesn't really matter. But I always go for the wow of the crowd, and obviously there was no crowd, um so I'm grading them on I'm pretty much grading them on performance. So um I am going to be completely biased. So that's going to be my disclaimer right there. I'm going to be completely biased, and I'm going to be I'm calling it the way I see it. I will not um I I will watch it for what it is, and grade it for what it is. Um some there are going to be a lot of people that will agree with me and disagree, and is perfectly fine. Um because everybody has their own right to their opinion. Thing is that we can't have a one-sided opinion. So you know just because my opinion doesn't differ than yours, just because my opinion differs from yours, doesn't mean you have to go be and jerk and say, hey, listen, nobody gives a damn what you think, and just shut up. But if I didn't, but it's okay to have an opinion. You can have an opinion, but like I said before, don't be a jerk about it. Um, and but I'm calling it the way I I am as a wrestling fan, as a WWE fan, and how these matches are, and how I thought it would be. Now, for what it is, it's what it is. I guess you can say. And like I said, I'm calling it right down the middle. So, all right, the kickoff match. We will start that off, and that is Drew Gulak versus Cesaro. It was a decent. Overall, it was a decent kickoff match. A lot of back and forth between the two. Between the two of them. Um, both both were really very did very well in this match. Cesaro being a veteran in the business, and of course Gulak being a youngster in this match. So a lot of new starts. We all know that holds a victory over Daniel Bryan, but unfortunately he didn't have a victory over Cesaro. Um, which means that of course Cesaro went over in this match, but overall it was a very good, it was a pretty decent match for what it was. And I'm giving this match a B plus. This was a steady match. A nice match that I would probably grade if there was an audience. I would do that. I really would. And but but I really do like that. So, and so yeah. But it is what it is. But yeah, but you know, I still would have graded that match a B plus regardless because it was still a good match. Um, then the show starts off and Alexa Bliss, the women's tag titles were on the line. Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross were number one contenders against the Kabuki Warriors, Asuka and Kairi Sane, and this match was was a decent opener. A lot of back and forth, between both teams. Um, not too many, not that many botches, but a lot of screaming, a lot of screaming. So it kind of threw me off there a little bit, um, but it amplifies more because there's no audience. Um, so in a way that kind of it was kind of annoying at times, but nonetheless the match was watchable, and of course Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross become the new women's tag team champions. And I grade this match a B minus. Could have been a lot better than what I expected to be, and much less. As I said, it is what it is. So, up next was King Corbin versus Elias. A pretty decent build up between the two. With these two. It was a decent match. Again, this was a decent match. You're gonna hear me say that a lot throughout this video. Um, and it was like pretty much the how it was with the Drew Gulak Cesaro match. Um, both were really good, and yeah, it was a decent match for what it was. And Elias um gets the victory over Corbin, and wins the match. And I give this match a solid B. It was a it was a match for what it was. It was actually really good. So it was decent for what it is. Okay, up next, the Raw Women's Championship was on the line. Shayna Baszler, number one contender, against champion Becky Lynch. This one I gotta say was pretty lackluster. Um, not saying it was, not saying it was horrible. It could have been better. It could have been, could have been a lot better for what it was. The only thing that threw me off was the finish, and I, it was the way it finished. It was disappointing. It was really disappointing for what it was. Um, but nonetheless, Becky still retains the championship, and I give this match a solid C. It was okay. Could Like I said, it could have been a lot better for what it was, but you know, it probably could have. But given the atmosphere, just like, let's just get this match over with and go home. Um, I forgot to grade the next match, and this one's pretty important. Um, it was Daniel Bryan taking on Sami Zayn for the IC belt. And wasn't a bad match. It, for what it was a classic match that you would see on Raw or SmackDown. And it was for what it was. And it's something that you would see on Raw or SmackDown. I didn't really mind for anybody. I didn't really mind the outside interference that much, but like I said, it was a classic match. But still, it could have been better. For what it was, but Sami Zayn retains the Intercontinental belt, and I give this match, even though I didn't put it on here, I think I'm going to give it a B minus. A B minus. I think that match could have been just a little bit better, just a little bit, given how it was. I do love the fan. There was some fan service when Daniel Bryan came out. And he had Gronkowski and Mojo Rollins, doing the yes chants and everything, doing the yes chants. So there was a little bit of fan service at that point right there. So it could have been a lot. Could have been used more during that match. I'm just saying, step it up a little bit. But yeah, it could have been a lot better. With that, but yeah, I am so tired. But yeah, it for what it was, it was a decent match. But like I said before, could have been a tad lot better. It could have been a B plus, but I'm giving this a B minus. Up next is the ladder match for the tag team titles. Now, this one's a little bit different because this is a little bit unusual because you have one person for each team, and it was a triple threat ladder match. Because originally it was supposed to be the New Day, the Usos, and Miz and Morrison in this ladder match. It was going to be a triple threat tag team ladder match. However, due to the fact that the Miz is sick with the flu, they had one from each team represent to go against John Morrison, because John Morrison was going to be defending the titles. But nonetheless, and they picked a good one. They picked a good recipients for number one contenders, that being Kofi Kingston and Jimmy Uso. This was a damn good match. So far, we're gonna get to the rest of the card in just a bit, but this was a really good match. It really was. I was really impressed. I have a soft spot for ladder matches, and this match was actually very decent. There is, of course, a lot of mixed reactions. Say, well, how come the tag titles were on the line? Why only one person? Blah 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 blah. Okay, for what it is, like I said before, the Miz was sick, so why not have one representative from each team go after the tag titles until the Miz comes back? And John Morrison put on a Wrestle Mania like performance. Like, he did in every other WrestleMania except the one with Snooki. Um, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. You know, but it really was a good show. It really was a good match. And of course you got Kofi Kingston, who you know definitely was the right choice to represent the New Day because of the fact that him last year being being the WWE champion at WrestleMania 35. I mean that deserves some sort of credit. Give credit where credit is due. Nothing against Big E or anything like that, but it was really good. So I don't have a problem with this lineup and everything, and I did not have a problem with this match. Especially that one spot where John Morrison type rope from one corner to the ring to Kofi's corner, and did their moves and everything. It was fun. It was really, really good. And if there was a fan reaction, and that was the only thing that threw me off, is that the fact that there was no fan, without that fan service, I would have given this grade a little bit high. I know I would have given this match a higher grade than I did, but I'm calling it the way I see it, and I give this match a good solid A. I really do. This was a very good match. For what it was. They were all over, they were, everybody hit their marks perfectly and everything. I didn't really see a botch, maybe like a little slip here and there, but not really to say, oh, he messed up and everything like that, But for what it is, it was a very good match, and I actually was I was actually watching this match. So that's why I give this match an A. And of course, Morrison retains the tag titles. Unusual. It was a weird finish, but I didn't mind because that match was actually that watchable. So it was actually really good. So yeah, it was pretty decent for what it was. Okay. Kevin Owens versus Seth Rollins. Now this was this was another good match, very good match. It was kind of lagging. It was kind of lagging a little bit. At first it was going to be like a B plus match at the beginning. Primarily because of the fact that Seth Rollins inadvertently disqualified himself by hitting Kevin Owens with the ring bell, therefore stopping the match and Kevin Owens winning by disqualification. Kevin takes the mic and says, "This is not how I want this is not how I want this match to finish. So you're gonna have to come back into this ring and finish this match like a man, like you said you were going to be. You call yourself the Monday Night Messiah, the Monday Night Messiah. Then you got to prove it by beating me like a man, like beating me like a man and everything like that. No disqualifications, no regrets, that sort of thing. That was really good. So the match restarts, with a no DQ. Over. It got a lot, this match definitely got a lot better. Especially that one spot which pretty much ended the match right there. There was this big WrestleMania sign off to the where the audience would normally be. Owens climbs that. Does jumps off the sign onto the announce table, an oh my god moment and everything like that. Brilliantly done and everything. Kevin Owens throws the stunner for good measure in the middle of the ring. 1, 2, 3. Match is over. Kevin Owens wins. And I give this match... Now, originally I was going to give this match an A-, but for what it was, I think I'm giving this match a solid A. It actually moved up. I have that power to do so. So this match is a good solid A. Very good match. Especially what brought up the match even more was that the fact that the match restarted with no disqualification. So right then and there, that was a very good match, and that spot right there was definitely deserves to go on the highlight reel. Definitely. And then we take a little break, a little bit, because you had two solid matches, and I'm sure a lot of people who were watching at home were winded from watching that, and basically, so R-Truth comes in, hangs out with Mojo Rollins and Gronkowski, and so they go after. And first, I thought Gronkowski was going to walk away the 24/7 championship. However, Mojo Rollins becomes the 24/7 championship champion. So that was pretty deep. It was okay for what it was. I mean, 20, and hey, I can't complain. I'm not giving this match a grade because it was, is a 24/7 champion segment, 24/7 segment. So all I'm really gonna do is I'm gonna give it a thumbs up because that's, not taking it away from Simon from Wall Culture. Love you guys, by the way. And, I'm giving you guys a thumbs up for a change because you guys deserve it. Big shout out to Simon from What Culture. Hope he's watching. But I doubt it because of the timeline. But you never know. So, but yeah, big shout out to those guys. Those guys are awesome. Love you guys. But yeah, it was good. It was a good segment. A good relaxer. I guess you can say it was a good relaxer. So yeah, that's why I give it a thumbs up. So yeah. So yeah, up next is Braun Strowman, who replaces Roman Reigns, and we'll get to that in just a second, against Bill Goldberg for the Universal Championship. So let's bring everybody up to speed of what's going on. Like I said, like I addressed it last week, Roman Reigns backed out of Wrestle Mania because of his leukemia. He's at high risk of getting the COVID-19. So because of that, he backed out. Even though I kind of, and I still stand by for what I said, that Roman should have said something on SmackDown the first night it was at the Performance Center. Just saying. I'm just saying. But it's for what it is and everything, and I saw that little video that Roman Reigns posted. It was a very good video and everything, and he was absolutely right. I wish I could play that video, but I can't. So, but yeah, no room, and it's pretty, and I agree with him. No room for negativity and everything. It was, is for what it was. However, this match for what it wasn't, and that being enjoyable, because it wasn't. It was not enjoyable. But given the last minute change, I guess there was like a lot of not much of a build up between these two, and I think that would have been a lot better. but for what it was, it was an okay match. Um, it was pretty much finishers. It was pretty much finishers versus finisher, pretty much. And some would probably argue that it would probably be done this. It would probably be the same way if Roman Reigns was fighting in this match, and it would be just be they'll just be using their finishers and that's it. But but for what it was, um, Braun Strowman went over Goldberg. Um, and it was it could have been a better match for what it was. There could have been more offense defensive moves between both competitors. I'm saying, but if they decide to do the whole WrestleMania do over after this pandemic is over with, um, I think we're going to see something a lot better for a change. Um, but for what it was, I was just not really impressed with it. It was more like it kind of reminded me of a filler match that would be over quickly, and the match wasn't even that over. That match did not go on for a really long time. I thought the match would be, it was pretty much basically stare down, talking back and forth, and then just throwing in finishers with maybe one or two offensive moves between the both of them. But um, but yeah, not really much to talk about in this match. But Strowman went over and is the new Universal Champion. So give credit to where credit is due. Um, but as I said, I'm calling it the way I'm seeing it, and I give this match a C plus. Um, I know that's kind of harsh, but I'm calling it the way I see it, and I'm calling it right down the middle. And for what it is, I just don't. This match could have been a hell of a lot better for being in this type of situation. Um, I was just it was a disappointment. It was like watching a Brock Lesnar match taking on some guy who puts up a fight with Brock Lesnar, but Brock Lesnar wins in under 5 minutes, which was probably like which would probably be like 3 minutes. Which that it was. It was like a 3 minute match. You know, I should have timed it, but I didn't think of it. But it could have been the match could have been a little bit longer. However, we actually have our last match of the evening. And this match, I have to say, this next match I'm going to talk about, and of course it is The Undertaker versus AJ Styles. This is how you do a wrestling match. Given these conditions. Now, if you had it at an arena, like let's say for example this Boneyard match, given what it was, like say for example this was at the arena. Let's say for example there was no pandemic going on and it didn't have to be in a closed set. All of a sudden, and you have this type of match, this particular match at the Tampa at that arena in Tampa where it was supposed to be. Given what it was, I think it would have been a lot better. It would not live up to that hype. I'll tell you why. Given this the conditions that was going on, you had to put this type of match outside. You had to put this type of match in a dark area that could be lit up properly. Kind of look like a cemetery like atmosphere, which what this was. This was it reminded me of one of an independent film, and the cinematography was amazing, and give credit to the editing team, which, by the way, this wasn't live or anything. This was all taped, and this was how you do how to do a match in these type of conditions, because you have this atmosphere, you have this theme, boneyard match, no crowd, no nothing. It's for what it was. And this boneyard match, let's face it, let's all be realistic, folks. This was a backyard match. This was a backyard brawl. Now, I'm not going to sit here and just love the match for what it was, but this match right here brought back a lot of memories for me, because I'm going to share a little secret with everybody. I used to do backyard wrestling. Okay, not many. I never really shared that with anybody. Ever since I was on here, but for what it was, yeah, I used to do backyard wrestling, and we actually had a match, something similar to that, but a little bit low key. We had a match between one of our with our two top guys, who went by the Dark Lord, and Wrestling Prime Hall of Famer Dan the Man. He went up. They both had this match, and it was in in an atmosphere something similar to what we did. And I wish I could show that match, but I can't. But but we only had one camera. we had a referee and everything. There was this old shed that we had in my in the backyard. So we had these two guys fight near there. We had the car headlights shining at the guys, so that you wouldn't see the cars and everything. But it was really awesome. It was a damn good match. And of course, the Dark Lord went over in that match and did his gimmick where he did his thing where he consumed souls. He did the dark claw, which is a remnant of the Iron Claw, on Dan the Man. Went into this trance and consumed his soul. Had a tiki torch over there, and he put it on the ground. Everyone thought that he was going to stab with the pointy bamboo, and everyone thought that he was going to a lot of people actually thought that Dark Lord was going to stab Dan with the pitchfork, but not the pitchfork, but the with the bamboo with the tiki torch. And but that didn't happen. That didn't happen. Put it right there behind him. Would have been nice if it was lit, but would have been a hell of a lot better if it was lit, but we didn't think of that. And but yeah, and he just put the hand on his head and did his trance and everything and consumed his soul, and that was it. The match was over. Dark Lord wins. So this brought back a lot of memories of that match, and but given this cinematography in this match was awesome. I really did not care who would have won in this match. I didn't care if it didn't matter if the Undertaker win or AJ would have won. Both did a phenomenal job. No pun intended. From AJ. I don't mean to steal his gimmick there, but this was a very good match. I was shocked. The cinematography was brilliant. I love the Undertaker's look. It was a hybrid of both the Dead Man, from the Attitude Era, and that transitioned to the American Badass gimmick that came during the Ruthless Aggression Era. So it was a hybrid between the two, and it worked perfectly. I loved it, and this is you can't have a type of match like this inside the Performance Center. A match like this was perfect for this match. In particular, was meant to be outside. This match was brilliantly done for what it was. You could not have a better match than what we saw. And we actually saw, and what you saw was one of the best matches in the Undertaker's career. A lot of people are going to disagree with me on this. A lot of people are. Because Undertaker had a lot of great matches back in the day. There is no denying that. But given what it was like a mini movie. Like this match, like right now, okay, literally, while I'm talking, when I saw this match, I literally had goosebumps, and I'm gonna share something with you. You see that? I don't know if you can see that, but just talking about that match gave me goosebumps. I literally have goosebumps. This was the best match on the card. A lot of people, and this was the best match of the Undertaker's career. And I give this match an A+. For what it was, like I said, a lot of people are going to disagree with me with that rating. A lot of people are going to disagree with me with this grade. There's going to be a lot of mixed reactions to the match itself. But for me, on a personal level, this match was worth the watch. If you weren't that in tune with watching WrestleMania, given the circumstances that was going into this match, going into this production, I understand. But if there's one match that you need to see from this show, has to be this match right here. This was a solid match. Like I said, a lot of people are going to disagree with me on this match, and that's perfectly alright. But given the circumstances, we have to understand why they did what they did. A lot of people may not agree with this, but we have to take it for a grain of with a grain of salt. We have to. Overall, like I said, this match is a bona fide A plus. This was a very good match. Got me invested. Like I said, this type of match did not even, this match alone didn't, was perfect because of the fact that this was a type of match you don't need an audience for. Especially when you had the Druids, come in and get jobbed out by the Undertaker. That was fine. The OC interfering, that was brilliant. It was just like, what are you going to do to stop the Undertaker? I thought that the match was going to end right there when the Undertaker was in the hole. But then all of a sudden, Undertaker comes from behind, shows up from behind. And I'm like, holy holy crap. It was perfect. I mean, you literally were on, had you on the edge of your seat, and it was just like a mini movie. This was perfect. It's like, that's how you do a wrestling match under these circumstances. You can't go wrong with that, but I understand if you do. If you think that if you disagree with me, it's perfectly fine. But I'm telling you, watch this match. If you haven't seen this match and you want to criticize, trust me, you have to watch this match before you can debate me. I'm sorry, because this right here was a very good match, bar none. Absolutely loved it. A plus, bottom line. And now comes the hard part. The overall grade for this match, for this show, for part 1. Now, given all the grades that I gave out in this match, on this show, on the matches that I give out, I have to give this show a B plus. We have to give credit where credit is due. I know a lot of people are upset that they should have postponed it, and yeah, they're right. Nobody's wrong with that, because even I said it. But given for what it was and for what I saw, this was a very good match. Good show for what it was. B plus, bar none. Match of the night, of course, goes to the Undertaker versus AJ Styles. Very good match. Very good match. As I said, I don't need to explain it very further. Worst match of the night, I'm sorry, but it goes to Braun Strowman and Goldberg. That was, I it could have been a lot better instead of just giving, them throwing off their finishers, and that was it. Like I said, WrestleMania moment for this part 1 obviously goes to Kevin Owens jumping off of the WrestleMania sign. And I have to give a special shout out to the production crew behind the Undertaker versus AJ Styles match. As I said, beautiful cinematography in this match. It was very watchable, and it's something I would love to see more of in the future, if given these circumstances again. So yeah, Um, so yeah, that's pretty much um that for what it is, and it was a decent one. I was probably I was a little bit harsh on a couple for a couple of for the past 2 weeks um given these circumstances and everything like that, and and I still stand by it, but for what it is, they it was watchable. It was watchable, and I loved it. I I loved it for what it was, and whether you hate, given the circumstances, I'm really curious what they're gonna do for Sunday's showing, for the next one, which is going to be within 24 hours from now, um, which will be Sunday, and oh, excuse me, um, but for what it is, I you know I really enjoyed watching this first part of WrestleMania, and I'm curious to what they're going to be doing for Sunday's showing. They may have to, they're going to have to step it up a little bit, and I'm really interested to see what they're going to be doing, and I can hardly wait. So, because you got Brock Lesnar versus Drew McIntyre, you got John Cena and the Fiend. Then you have um the SmackDown Women's Championship, which I don't know about that. So, but for what it is, this show so far this show is a B plus, and I'm gonna be back. I'm going to be back again with tomorrow with another with part 2 of this review. So be sure to follow me on Twitter at TomDog247. Um, Thumbs up the video if you like it. Comment down below what you thought of tonight's WrestleMania Part 1. Let me find. I really would like to know what you have to say. Um, Lay the smack down on that. Ring the bell to stay notified of what I'm going to be doing. To let you know that I'm going to be on, so that you'll know that to watch part 2 of this review. And also you could be have yourself you can have your WrestleMania moment, and all you have to do is lay the smackdown on that subscribe button. We will see you all again here tomorrow. Thank you all so much for tuning in and allowing me into your home after WrestleMania Part 1. And like I said, be back here again tomorrow for Part 2 of WrestleMania, of the WrestleMania review. Until then, this is Tom Dog saying take care, so long, peace.